Welcome to Alistair's Golf. Today I'm joined by Chris Ryan from Chris Ryan Golf. Make sure you watch his videos on YouTube. And we're going to do a series called How to Save Par. And within this series we're covering many facets within the game. But basically we're going to try and maximise your opportunities of saving pars from situations around the greens and situations you might find yourself in off the tee. So thrilled to be joined by Chris. He's going to add some extra content to this.
Hopefully.
And make sure you go over to his channel also to see the other videos in the series, as well as watch the rest on my channel too. So this particular situation we're in today is a basic chip and run shot. It's a pretty straightforward shot. We're going to go for the second flag here. And I've chosen this shot particularly because it's more or less a 7-iron shot. What we tend to see with a lot of our golfers we teach is they tend to use the sand iron a lot around the greens really and try and force the issue depending on where the flag is. So we want to make sure that they're adjusting the club. And the style of technique we're going to get you to do today is going to make it very, very simple. And we want the ball really reacting very much like a putt.
Exactly, quite low, rolling. We've got loads of green to over there. You don't need to go through the air, so it makes sense to keep it on the ground.
Definitely, 100%. You definitely could even putt this if you wanted to, if the grass was very good. However, we know that a lot of the golf courses, you tend to have either a fringe or rough, or we have some dodgy lies between us and the hole. So it's good to learn to chip and to putt from these situations. Then you can try and pick and choose the shot depending on the situation. So you'll notice I've got my putter here, and Chris has got my 7-iron here. There is a particular reason we've done that. It's because we want to make you stand as much as you can like a putt for this shot, and then use a 7, 8, 9 wedge sandwich, depending on what club and what hole we're going for, to get the right ratio of flight and roll. So first thing I'm going to do is set up to the ball with a putter. I'm going to have my normal grip, but everything else is going to be like a putter. So I'm going to make sure I'm stood quite close to the ball, eyes, just inside the ball, if anything, Chris. And also, I'm going to make sure my hands is the main thing I'm looking at. Is the grip very much in the palm of the hands, and the handle here is quite up my forearms. So you'll see a line here really from the forearms to the shaft, pretty much working in unison with each other. Now the reason I've got that is basically because I want to make sure I eliminate the most amount of wrist action I can in the shot. So when we're stood further away, I'm naturally going to get some wrist cock and wrist hinge. And we'll also see more release the further away we are from the ball, which is really just the turning the club head. So the closer I stand to the ball, the more the shaft sits at my forearms, the more I can swing my forearms and use my shoulders like I would in the putt, and that makes it very consistent to control the club face.
Face doesn't tend to rotate as much, so direction gets tighter, dispersion gets tighter. A lot of advantages there.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing from using a 7-iron is the kind of pace we can hit the 7-iron will be very similar to a putt. So if you've got an option of using a 7, 8, 9 or wedge, a 7-iron will be kind of more the go-to club because you can hit it just like you would hit this long-range putt, and you get the ball roughly in the same pace control as you hit the putt. Okay, so let me set up to the ball again, Chris. There are some differences in the setup for putter, which is more weight and feet, but I'm going to talk through that in a second. So I'm just mostly from the eye position and the distance from the ball, that's where I'd want to be.
So obviously the 7-iron's a lot longer, so if I put that one in, you're certainly going to have to go almost down to the bottom of that handle, aren't you?
Especially because I'm shorter than you, Chris.
You're shorter than me.
So again, I'm looking for the same relationship. The shaft is going to go up the forearms. The other thing I look for with the 7-iron is to make sure the heel of the club's off the ground. Again, this helps me get the set position, and that's the kind of visual key I would use to do that. Then I'm going to have a narrow stance, narrower than I would for putt. That's the one real change. And the ball position is going to be in the centre. And again, we see quite a lot of players will have the ball position too far back in the stance here. My thoughts on that, Chris, is when their ball gets too far back in the stance, they tend to close the shoulders a lot. Eyes go back.
A lot bent to the right.
And that causes this kind of staying back and flicky action, which I don't like at all.
Agreed.
So I want to see really the ball under the buttons, under the sternum. And then we're going to move the sternum slightly further forward to get the weight preset about 70% on the left-hand side. This allows me to get kind of a downward blow. So this essentially is a downward putt.
Exactly.
A putt we'd hit slightly on the way up. This would definitely hit on the way down. But we are getting the ball to launch low and run. I think that's important. It's
similar to a putt, but there are some key changes, aren't there? Because if we start to do it exactly like a putt, we start to hit it on the way up, we're still going to start to misstrike it. So it's key to understand that there are some slight adjustments. We do want that club slightly descending at contact.
I think if the lie was flat up fluffy, you could hit it like a putt and get away with it. But ultimately,
pretty tight fairway.
Fairway we are here. In most situations we want to hit down on the ball. So 7-iron, 70% the weight in the left foot. Heel, as we said, in the air. We're going to try and keep our weight there, and then as we swing, we're going to rock our shoulders just like a putt and try and land the ball just on the green, and then let it run out to the hole. And you see there that ball's tracking the hole, and and it's just slightly short, but you'll notice...
Pretty good though, isn't it?
Pretty good, but you'll notice it just landed just short of the green, and that's why it's just short of the hole.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get the ball to land just on the green if we can, and ideally that ratio would be 1/4 of the way between us and the hole for 7-iron, and we're hitting it at the same tempo and speed as we would a putt.
Yeah.
So
it's low risk, isn't it? Really low risk.
Yeah. I think the only thing that can go wrong is if people tend to use the wrist too much, and then they can mess up the contact. And if the contact gets messed up, the ball can end up halfway. Other than that, completely low risk.
But I think the thing I like about this shot as well is if you do mess up the contact, it's probably going to be low.
Yeah.
And if you hit it correctly, it's going to be low. So the poor shot and the good shot are actually quite close together. If you choose to go the elevated route and you misstrike it, the poor shot and the good shot are worlds apart, aren't they? And you get a completely different result. If you'd have almost half thinned that, it might not be a completely different result, and that's really why we're trying to play it.
Yeah, I think you can get away with slightly heavy, slightly thin, and they'll all be within, say, 10 foot of the hole.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's all we're trying to do. Get it in a proximity from the hole gives us an opportunity to hold a putt. Exactly. And you'll see one of our other videos on putting, and we'll give you some key little thoughts on how to hold a short putts better, which will work nicely with this video.
Exactly.
And we're trying to just give ourselves those opportunities. Okay, so hopefully that simpleness of that shot will come across, and you'll have a go playing that shot. Do change the club and, you know, give yourself that variety to give yourself different flights and roll if needed. But have a go with a 7-iron and get your pace control down, and then adjust it from there. So make sure you check out Chris's channel. You'll see the details down below for some of the other videos in this series. And also make sure you like and subscribe to both our channels, and any comments you have down below, and any other further collaborations you want to see, let us know. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.